But for them to continue that, someone had to sign off on the aggravated rape and murder of a girl they knew was innocent. And that's just what someone did. They had me date her. And after 5 more months, she did want to be with me in Utah. They said, no, we're learning too much. Break off with her. We're learning too much by seeing who she has dinner with around Washington, D.C. And she's putting pictures of it all on Facebook. Nothing was covert. The FBI later made an argument, well, that's bad. It's because she's human terrain mapping. And she was talking to a foreign senator. She did it, taking direction. Anyway, taking hints from a foreign senator. Who knows? I won't get into the question of what she was. And it was great. How great it was. Half of Washington is doing that kind of stuff for foreign governments. But setting all that aside, what's important, just like my Wall Street story, is how did the government react? And I put them in the position for the Russian collusion delusion to pass any further than October of 2016. Somebody had to, in the deep state, had to sign off on the rape and murder of a girl they knew was innocent. And why that's funny is what else happened in October 2016, Roseanne? And I understand you've become friendly with President Trump. I remember you guys were not so friendly years past, I heard, but you've become...
No, we were friendly. Always in Hollywood, always friendly.
He's a good guy. I like him, and I became warmer towards him from the moment he became president, and the baboons started, going after him for any little thing he said. I started to really sympathize and like him more and more. But I've really come to, and I've apologized I said some really nasty. Right before the election, I was in an interview. And I was asked, what do you think of Hillary Clinton? And I said, oh, she's terrible. She can't be president. She belongs in an orange jumpsuit. I can't tell you. Well, just trust me. She can't be president. And they said, well, what do you think of Donald Trump? And because I'd always been even-handed and I'd never taken one side or the other, I immediately said, oh, he's terrible too. He's just this big blowhard. He just runs his mouth. Oh, he's terrible too. And I said nasty things like that. And I wish I hadn't. I kind of I made a mistake. It's because
you didn't know.
Well, I bashed Hillary. So I felt I had to bash him. And he heard about it. And he let me know he knew about it, was angry. But some of it I felt, he wasn't my style. And I'm like a quiet Northern Yankee. And he's this brash New Yorker. I agreed with him on policy, but stylistically, he wasn't my guy. But I have to say, I came to like him anyway, and more I have over the years. And none of that has anything to do with what I'm doing. I'm doing this now because it's the right thing. But anyway, So where we left things was they signed off on that. They had me date her for 5 more months. When she wanted to break up, when she wanted to be with me at the end, they said, break her heart, tell her, because we're learning too much having her do this in D.C. So I broke off again. A year later, 15 months later, I think it was, when Trump met Putin, the day they met, a couple hours, it was maybe July of 2018, hours before Trump met Putin, just a couple hours, the FBI swoops in. I think they had a CNN van, as always, swoop in and arrest Maria Butina at her boyfriend's apartment in D.C. and make this big fanfare about it. We've discovered this Russian spy. She's, Hollywood Central casting, a striking redhead. There's all these pictures of her.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
Sniper rifles. They have this, and look at this tape. She interacted with Donald Trump in a Freedom Fest convention in Vegas in 2015. Look, she's asking, she is a spy. And they played that tape 1,000 times to associate them. The whole thing was producer driven. You know what I mean? About like rock groups, or, like the Spice Girls. The Spice Girls aren't 4 girls who became friends and made music. There's some producer somewhere who said, let's have a group that's 4 hot chicks, and one will be Sporty Spice and one's Scary Spice. I don't know all the spices. And then they write the music, and then they go find the girls to play the part. The whole thing, that's called a producer-driven group. Well, the whole thing was producer-driven. Since the day Maria landed in America, they knew all about her. They knew about all the meetings. They knew about her dinners and putting them up on Facebook. They had me open the doors. They had me schmooze some of them into place. The whole thing was producer-driven. Yet the day Trump meets Putin in July of 2018, they swoop in on a restaurant. Oh my God, we've discovered this Russian spy in D.C. And it's just, she was a perfect prop. She was a perfect prop because by that point, Americans were starting to say, how come this Russian scandal doesn't seem to have any actual Russians in it? And then they pull up this Russian who's this redhead, sniper rifle, boots, hot chick. And, she's Hollywood central casting. She's just a prop for them to sell the whole Russian hoax.
Exactly.
And,
well, they sure did get away with it, didn't they? That nobody's been punished for it.
Well, I think if you want to find out who's beyond that, three federal agents. Here's the thing you need to know. 3 federal agents have a document signed by somebody. Could be an assistant attorney general, could be Attorney General Loretta Lynch, could be Brennan, could be Comey, who knows? Maybe it's who it is. Sign off on it. Who signed off on that is behind.
Well, it'd have to be somebody pretty high up.
It would be. Whoever signed off on that is behind the Russian hoax, is behind the whole Hillary Clinton, bribery and blackmail. And I think if you share my beliefs about what's happening in the last 4 years as a color revolution, and this
it is absolutely,
and you see how COVID fits into it, and the suppression of hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin, and the preference for this vaccine that ain't even a vaccine, which the Ninth Circuit has just confirmed, decided how it all fits into it, and Antifa and the rigged election. I think, and this normalization of cancel culture, this is all one big psyop to take down the United States.
absolutely.
I can promise you, it's not a theory. There was a coup that began around Thanksgiving of 2015. And the names used with me when these assignments started getting weird were Comey, Brennan, and eventually Obama as the. However, again, it's quite possible it's people in the shadows, and those names were being used to get me to do stuff. However, there's a simple way to find out. The Senate could find out who signed off on the rape and murder of Maria Butina. And I think we'll get to who's behind the Russian hoax, who's behind the whole Hillary Clinton, all bribery, that whole investigation going nowhere but being used to set her up so they could control her. Who's behind this 2020 color revolution we're going through? Go find out who signed off on the rape and murder of Maria Butina.
Well, who signed over the United States sovereignty to the UN?
Well, you tell me. Which aspect do you mean? Are you talking about this recent World Health Organization stuff?
Well, they haven't done that one quite yet, but somebody signed over the whole internet and stuff like that to the UN. A lot of our powers, a lot of our border issues, a lot of people coming over our border are people from the UN. Nobody ever talks about that. But you know what? You're going to come back, and next time you come back, will you tell us?
I'll tell you some big secrets next time I come back. In fact, I think we ought to we've spoken enough. I think you and I ought to film the next episode and then put it in a can, just in case anything happens to me. I'm over here in lovely Germany, just in case anything in Berlin. But I don't know. Let's get back together in a couple of days.
Do you want to give us one big secret to end the show, or you want to wait? I'm not going to push.
He's given us a lot of good secrets.
Is there any more? I have to push as the producer. It's my job.
What I would say, if you want more secrets, read the book closely before we talk again. And there's a lot. I've only given you the first half of the book. There's another 40% of the book full of many more secrets to discuss. So let's get together.
Okay, well, we're going to put the book in a graphic, and I'll talk about it a little bit too all the time. But I need to. I know what you're saying, though, but I want you to say it because there's much more to it, and it goes back to Crossfire Hurricane too, doesn't it?
Well, I don't. Well, Crossfire Hurricane started in July of 2016, and Peter Strzok said in a podcast a couple of years ago, they've gone through all these different explanations of what was their predicate to start it, and he's finally come out and said it was Maria Butina. we learned about Maria Butina in July of 2016, and that's what got us to start Crossfire Hurricane in late July 2016. Exactly. It's a flat lie. It's not a theory. I'm a participant. I'm a witness. They knew about her in July of 2015, and they were all over her like white on rice for a year. But the Durham report correctly reports everything that happened from July of 2016 forward, but it buries all of this. And it's like volume 2 of a 2-volume report, and they kept volume 1 hidden, is effectively what the Durham report is. So you follow this.
Well, I'll read the book. We'll chew on it, and we'll come back. We'll film the next one, and we'll see where it goes.
And I just want to make sure you understand the 4 parts. So there's the setup of the Russian hoax. There's the setup of the Hillary Clinton Broadband blackmail. There's the flashback that I was actually instructed by the Senate Judiciary Committee in 2006, who told me they had a power that transcended every power within government to infiltrate and disrupt the deep state. And that gives us chapter 4. Here's the short way to say it. Who's ever really behind it, behind all these things, I tricked them or him or her, whoever, into signing off on the rape and murder of a girl they knew was innocent. And why that's so funny, Roseanne, is that was the month, October 2016 was also the month where your friend, Donald Trump, got in a whole lot of trouble for saying something locker room to another guy, as if women don't talk a little dirty to each other when they're alone. I've been in groups of 5 or 6 women when they forget a guy's there. Let me tell you, they sell things a lot.
They're way worse than we are. That's the truth.
Yeah. So that's really, and so the same month he got in trouble for saying you can grab him by, that someone in the deep state signed off on aggravated rape and murder in order to continue this domestic political espionage we were hatching. So you see